can you really get paid just by listening to music or radio from your phone on Cash4Minutes? They claim you can earn up to $6 per hour for doing this. But is it actually worth it? We will go over all the details in this video, and make sure you stick around to the end because I'll also share a crucial tip that could save you from losing money instead of making money. In case you don't know, my name is Michael and I've tested hundreds of different ways to make money online over the past 8 years and shared it here on my YouTube channel and my website Paid from Service. And in this video here, I'm testing a platform called Cash4Minutes. It claims to pay you just for calling specific phone numbers and listening to radio broadcasts. It sounds a bit strange, right? Well, I'll break down exactly how it works, why it pays you to do something like this, and also what you really can earn per hour. But I will also show the risks you need to be aware of, because if you're not careful, you could end up with a huge phone bill instead of a payout. So let's get into it and go over all the details. So let's start by going over what Cash4Minutes is and who can join. And it is, first of all, a platform that you can join from all countries. So that's of course good to be aware of. So what it offers is here a service that allows you to earn cash with your monthly unused phone minutes simply by listening to internet radio broadcasts. So that means if you have 3 minutes on your phone, you can use those minutes according to Cash4Minutes, call specific numbers, listening to radio, music, through your phone, and then get paid by doing that. So it's basically passive income. And how it would work is that you just need to sign up. You can then get access numbers and you would need to call them. But before jumping into that, there are some very important things you need to be aware of. I will log in, I will show you how to find the numbers, and then I'll also share the important things you need to be aware of. But one thing you also need to consider is whenever you see an earning method, you need to ask also what is in it for them? Like, how can you get paid by doing this? Because that's also how you will eventually learn to filter out the platforms with the biggest red flags that potentially can end up scamming you. So let's go over how they can actually afford to pay us for doing something like this. So the reason Cash4Minutes can pay you to participate in something like this is, according to themselves here, you can see in the FAQ section, is that they generate revenue from phone calls generated by you via your phone company. All you need to do is listen to these radio stations, and supposedly they have then partnered with telecom networks and carriers, and every time you call one of their access numbers, then the carrier pays Cash4Minutes for this traffic here, and then they will share this revenue with you. And it's just streaming of this internet radio or recorded content, so there's actually no conversations going on. It's just passive listening, so you can just let this run for quite a while depending on the exact call. And according to themselves also, they manage millions of calls and volume, so even small payments like this can add up on the carrier side, which also means that it potentially can add up for you. Personally, I still think this sounds very strange. I have tested hundreds of ways to make money online and I do not feel super comfortable with something like this. But again, this is just my opinion. I think this explanation, it lacks some details, to be honest. But again, this is just my opinion. I would love to also hear your opinion about this explanation, about what they say about this earning method. So please share your thoughts about it in the comments below. And also there is something else important you need to know, as you can actually risk losing money. But before going over that, let's first go over how you can get paid and how much you can earn. So how can you then get paid? It's always important to know before joining an online earning platform. And you can see also in the FAQ section here, it says once you reach the threshold of minutes required, they'll process the amount due to you by the following working day, but they will try to do it as soon as possible. But it does not actually say in the FAQ section which payout options. It also doesn't say what this threshold of minutes required is. So that's something I really don't like, that they're not more transparent about that. But inside the member area, you can then see the payout options. So you can also choose the currency depending on where you live. You can see bank transfers possible, you can get paid in Bitcoin, you can donate to charity, and you can get paid with PayPal. Again, it doesn't say an exact threshold you need to reach, which is something I really do not like, but that's just something you need to be aware of. Also, if you want to get paid via bank transfer, for example, there is something very important to be aware of, because you can see in the FAQ section, it says here that due to an increase in bank charges, they have to charge fees for payments here via bank transfer there. So you can see that the bank charges would be, for example, €5 for bank transfers in euro there, and €15 or $15 for international bank transfers. So quite high fees. So that's something you need to be aware of if you want to get paid via bank. Another thing you need to be aware of is that this pending units, for example, that means that if you do not live in the UK, then how long you can wait until the minutes that you have actually called will be released. It can be up to 50 days. So that's something you really need to be aware of, that it's not that you can just do some calls and then get paid right away. It takes quite some patience. But let's now also go over how much you can then earn. And I will show you some exact examples of this. So inside the member area, you can find a full list of the different numbers you can call, and here you can see how much it would be per minute, and you can also see the country, and there's a lot of different ones, and you can also search for specific countries. So if, for example, you wanted to call US numbers, you can see here, you can just call that, and then you can see how much that would give, and that would give a very, very low reward, as you can see, per minute. Whereas others, if you can see, they give significantly more, but still quite low rates. The highest I have seen, I've gone through quite a lot of these countries there to check, and the highest I have seen is 10 cents per minute. Be aware that this doesn't mean that this is the country you live in. These are the numbers you can call, so you can call them even if you do not live in this country. That's important to be aware of. But you can potentially risk losing money. I'll go over how you need to make sure to avoid that a bit later. But if we just look at the earning potential, again, as mentioned, the highest I have seen is 10 cents per minute. So that is equivalent of $6 per hour. But for example, the US numbers give very little. That would only be around 4.5 cents per hour if you call the US numbers. So as you can see, you would need to choose the numbers wisely, and not only because of the earning potential, but also because there can be some risks. So before you jump in and just let your phone run all day, here's one extra tip that could potentially save you a lot of money. So one thing you absolutely need to know is that if you are not careful and just jump in and start calling, it can end up costing you a lot. Even though you will use free minutes and Cash4Minutes pays you for every minute you call their numbers, not all phone plans are created equal. So you absolutely need to check your own phone plan carefully before starting something like this. And make sure to also do a short test call first if you decide to do this, and that could be just 10 or 20 seconds, for example. And this is to see if the number is actually included in your plan, because some of these are international or premium rate numbers, and if your plan doesn't cover them, you can get charged a lot. And it can end up costing a lot, even if it's just for a few seconds or a few minutes. Also keep in mind that Cash4Minutes clearly states that it is 100% your responsibility to check this, and they won't reimburse you if your phone company suddenly slaps you with a huge fee. Personally, I think they should make sure to check this more and check more up on the numbers so you would easily be able to see, but they're not doing this, and this is something you need to be aware of if you decide to do this. And if you decide to do it, or if you have already done it, please let me know in the comments below what your results are. So to sum it all up, Cash4Minutes can be a way to earn easily and passively just by listening to radio broadcasts from your phone, but it is not something that I would personally do. First of all, I think it's too risky to end up losing with all the different numbers and trying to figure out exactly what's included in your phone plan. And for most countries, it also pays very little. And I know with my plan, even though I have unlimited minutes, it's not for many of these international numbers, and especially not for the numbers that are in countries where it gives a rate that might be worth considering. So that's why I personally would not do it. It would just not be worth it for me. But this is just my opinion after having tested hundreds of different ways to earn online. I would love to also hear your opinion about it in a comment below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? I would love to hear that. If you really want to earn by listening to music, it's in general not something that will earn you a lot, but I do have a list on my website of different platforms where you can earn a bit by doing that. I will leave a link to that below. Also, if you want daily exclusive tips and tricks about earning online, I do have a free Telegram channel you're also free to join. I will also leave a link to that below. And finally, if you just prefer reading, I also do have a written Cash4Minutes review. So also you can find a link to that below if you're interested in that. And also if the video helped you, make sure to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out next time I release a video with tips and tricks about different ways to make money online.